Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mid-Morning. It's one of the most beautiful times of the year in North Mississippi and West Alabama. Trees and flowers, they're all blooming, and the pollen is flying. So that means allergies are right around the corner. Joining us at the table this morning, Dr. Keith Watson, to talk about it. It's our favorite time of year. Probably your favorite question. Is it colder and allergy?
Oh, and I have horrible allergies. This is the worst time of year for me in Mississippi. So
yeah, I struggle in the spring and the fall every year. It just hits you. So let's talk about it. And I don't, is it different in kids and adults? Maybe what you see with allergies and colds this time of year?
The simple answer is it all varies. And I don't know if there's, I'm a good politician.
Yeah, I see that.
It depends. Symptoms can overlap. But there are typically some characteristic things that will tip doctors off that whether you're dealing with a cold or an allergy. Typically with an allergy, so pollen allergy, you get the itchy eyes, you get the runny nose, the sneezing, the scratchy throat, those types of things. Most people still feel themselves, feel normal, or don't feel sick, I guess would be the way to say it.
Yeah.
Colds typically come on with the I don't feel good, a little bit of a headache, more of a cough, although you can cough with allergies, but you get the cough, the sore throat, you can get a little low-grade fever, and you just don't feel great. And it typically lasts 4 or 5 days and then you're over it. Whereas with the allergies, like you said, springtime, you're going to feel pretty much yourself, but you're just going to have these symptoms, and it's just day in, day out until the pollen kind of goes away.
And you get tired of blowing your nose, and but there are certain things you can treat these allergies with to kind of help that out. For children, I know it may vary, but what do you recommend as far as for children versus what you're looking at for probably an adult?
If it's an as-needed symptom, maybe you don't have the symptoms every day, or maybe some days your symptoms are worse than others. A simple antihistamine works pretty well. Benadryl works great, but it can make you very sleepy. Whereas something like Zyrtec or Claritin or Allegra, which are over-the-counter antihistamines, work like Benadryl. They just don't tend to make you as sleepy. So those are good as needed. Although you can take them every day, they're an as needed thing. There are then other allergy medicines, if you need to step up your game, that would be something that are more preventative that you take every day. Those require prescriptions from your doctor and a visit to your doctor to talk about them. And then if you need to even go above that, and some people do and their allergies are significant enough, you may actually have to see an allergist and get allergy tested, and that could end up meaning allergy shots on a weekly basis, that type of thing.
Yeah, because we know how scary allergies can be, that's for sure. All right, so when we take a look, how prevalent is this? I guess I feel like we're kind of moving out of cold and flu season maybe, and moving more into this cold and allergy type season, or am I way off base?
No, you're correct. You can still have colds this time of year. It's just they're less common. Viruses, which typically cause your colds, occur fall and winter, cooler weather. Now we're getting into the spring. There are summertime colds, but this is really the peak allergy season. Most doctors are going to see predominantly at this point allergy symptoms above the other.
Well, that makes perfect sense. All right. Well, look, we have more with Dr. Watson whenever we come back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back, everybody. Here with Dr. Keith Watson, talking about allergies. And here is the next question. I feel like I asked this a lot, but when is the sign to go see a doctor?
I think any time that you have the onset of a fever, especially in my world with children, the onset of fever could signify. It might not. You might have a cold and it might just be part of the process, but having a fever occur could indicate a progression of the illness, and then a secondary problem, an ear infection, strep throat, those kinds of things. So, if you or your child are walking around and you've got a cough and congestion and a scratchy throat and you don't feel your best, 4 or 5 days, that's probably what you're going to have. But if you spike a fever and develop, ear pain or throat pain or any kind of difficulty breathing, that's time to at least let your doctor give you the once over and make sure everything's okay.
For sure. One other thing happening this time of year with children that we often think about is, what is the importance of going and seeing your doctor and getting that physical before starting maybe T-ball, Wii ball, coach pitch, travel league, whatever it is with your kids?
Always a good idea to get your annual physical. Number one, with children, there's lots of things you're going to check. In kids, we check growth and development. My doctor, when I see them, he checks my growth this way, making sure I'm not eating too much. But with kids, you want to make sure they're growing and they're developing properly. But as far as a sports physical, you want to check coordination and make sure that their little bodies are ready for whatever sport they're going to undertake. You always want to listen to their heart and lungs. In some cases, you can pick up on irregular heartbeats or things that walking around is not a big deal, but if they start putting a stress on their body and playing sports, could lead to maybe some more serious issues. So getting their heart and lungs checked and making sure that their little muscles are their strength and coordination is there, making sure they're up to date on their vaccines for going back to school, because occasionally you have to have vaccines to go back to school. 5-year-olds have to have them for kindergarten, and 11-year-olds have to have them to go back to 7th grade. You have to have a tetanus shot before you go to 7th grade in the state of Mississippi. So those types of things, it's just a good overall review for mom and dad with doctor to make sure we've got everything we need. But on the doctor's end, it's making sure that these little guys that want to play sports, their little body's up to it to prevent some kind of injury or mishap.
And that's another thing I was going to talk about. It was injury, and accidents happen, things happen. Most of the time, these kids are going to pop right back up and they're going to be fine. Maybe a sore knee or bruised eye or something along those lines. But okay, let's say little Johnny or Susie's injured at practice or something, and maybe it's been 3 days. Is it time to go see their pediatrician?
If the injury, if you didn't feel like it was serious enough to go to the doctor right away and it was something you were observing, if after 2 or 3 days it's not improving a little bit or if symptoms are worsening, absolutely let the doctor check it and make sure they haven't done something that requires closer attention.
All right. Some absolutely great advice. We appreciate you, and I'm sure your phone will be ringing as we try and figure out cold versus allergy.
Probably will.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome in the 662. Isaac hosting this week, and I have with me Blake Bradford in town from Biddy Sawworks down Highway 69 here in Lowndes County. Blake, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right, so Biddy Sawworks 3rd annual spring open house. It's starting to get warmer.
Correct.
Spring open house. What is that all about?
So our open house we do every year. It's our 3rd annual open house. It's just an event that we like to put on every year to get the community together, fun family event. Get the kids involved, just doing things like that. It also gives us an opportunity to get back to the community. The community is so great to us where we're at with the small business shopping. So it just gives us an opportunity to get back to those people that like to do business with us.
All right, so we'll get back to the kids in a second. Some items you're bringing with you, I guess, from the store. What are those? What are those going to be discounted?
Yeah, so pretty much everything.
Oh, good.
Everything's discounted. So we've got 10% off all material. We opened up a materials yard a little over a year ago. Mulch, topsoil, things like that. So pine straw, everything's 10% off there. Everything in the store pretty much. All steel handheld equipment. We sell the steel chainsaws, weed eaters, things like that. All the parts, accessories, oil, fuel. I mean, if you can see it when you walk in the door, it's 10% off. Mowers are going to be a little different.
Okay.
Mowers are going to have some special pricing on them, along with some 0% financing options. So those combined are really going to be some good deals for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have projects coming
They do.
up. They're
They
trying
do.
to do some
That's
home
right.
improvement.
Yep.
All right, so some giveaways. Some stuff might be fully discounted, right?
100%, yes, sir. So we're giving away a little over $1,200 worth of material.
Okay.
It could be your choice. It could be mulch, pine straw, dirt, Dan's dirt. It could be anything. We're also giving away Riley Green concert tickets, Aaron Lewin concert tickets, and we are also giving away a free golf pass for 4 to Elm Lake.
Okay.
And we're going to have some other little items. We're going to be giving away some steel stuff. I can't give away all the secrets yet. We're going to be putting those on our Facebook page, but we're going to be giving away a ton of stuff this year.
Absolutely. That sounds like some fun coming up here. So back to the kids. What kind of activities might there be for the little ones?
So we are going to have, this year, we're going to have a bouncy house.
Okay.
One of the biggest things that we got kicked back on was, hey, I want to come, but I don't have a babysitter. I don't have anything like that. So my wife and I, we've got a bouncy house this year, so we're going to have a bouncy house out there so parents can come, they can shop. I'll have somebody watching the bouncy house, kind of overseeing everything, make sure nobody gets hurt.
Sure.
And yeah, so we're just going to have that for the kids. And one of the cool things we're going to have a chainsaw carver. So we've got somebody coming all the way from Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And long way.
Sure.
And so what he does is he takes 4 to 5 foot sections of trees, and he basically carves whatever you want out of it.
Okay. Just with one singular chainsaw.
One chainsaw. He may have a few different saws, smaller, larger, to get those little tiny cuts. But yeah, so he's going to be working on a piece. I purchased a piece that he's going to do for Biddy Sawworks.
Okay.
So he'll be working on that all day long for both days, Friday and Saturday. But he's also going to be doing some little pieces. So he'll be doing, little bears, things like that. You can also put in a request. If you want to purchase something, you can purchase it. He'll have plenty of things there. But you can say, hey, can you carve this for me?
Sure.
And he'll kind of take payment, make a list, and then he'll be doing those in the future.
Maybe I should come out and ask for the WCBI logo.
That's right.
To be carved.
He can do it. He can do it.
Excellent. All right, so you said Friday, Saturday. What are the dates and times we're looking for?
Friday, March 21st, it's all day, 8 to 5.
Okay.
And then Saturday, March the 22nd, it's 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We usually put 2 on it. If people are still shopping at 2:05, 2:15, even 3 or 4. We're going to stay until the last person leaves.
Excellent. Well, Blake, we appreciate your time this morning.
Yes,
and
thank
again,
you for having
if
me.
you have any additional questions or need any information, the number there listed on your screen, you can also head to Biddy Sawworks' Facebook page for additional information. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everyone. He's been called this generation's Babe Ruth. Last week, Shohei Ohtani made a triumphant return to his home country for an exhibition game, playing in front of a Japanese crowd for the first time in a major league uniform. Adam Yamaguchi sat down with the superstar the day before he electrified the Tokyo Dome.
It was showtime in the Japanese capital Saturday.
Ohtani with a titanic swing in Tokyo!
In just his second at-bat in Japan, Shohei Ohtani launched a 2-run blast, sending the sellout crowd into a frenzy. It's the kind of showmanship that has made Ohtani a household name on both sides of the Pacific. We had a chance to sit down with him in a rare one-on-one interview the day before the game.
So how does it feel to be back?
Yes, coming back this time and being able to start the season here is really special. I hope it becomes an unforgettable year for me. Even for the uber-talented Ohtani, it'll be hard to top last year's historic performance when he hit 54 home runs, stole 59 bases, and won his first World Series championship with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You had a record-breaking season. You won the title in your first year as a Dodger. What's next?
You mean like an individual?
As a team? Well, both.
As a team, of course, our main goal is to win back-to-back championships. Personally, this is the year I'm returning as a pitcher, so I want to approach that carefully, while also making sure to deliver solid results as a batter. It's that rare blend of prodigious hitting and pitching talent that has led many to refer to Ohtani as this generation's Babe Ruth. The Sultan of Swat was a transformative figure in the growth of the game in Japan. popularizing the sport during a series of exhibition games held in the country in 1934. One of the bats used during the tour still survives in the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame. Beside it, a picture of Ohtani holding that same bat.
Here you are, 90 years later, you're oftentimes compared to Babe Ruth, coming home, as something of a hero. What does this moment mean to you?
Babe Ruth is definitely one of the players I respect, so being compared to or used an example alongside such a player is something I always feel is very special for me. Although baseball is known as America's pastime, in Japan it's more of a national obsession, and Ohtani is the golden boy. Along the bustling Tokyo streets, advertisements and merchandise featuring the superstar are everywhere. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, who has Japanese ancestry on his mother's side, says Ohtani is shouldering the responsibility of an entire nation.
We're an hour before the first pitch, and this place is jam-packed.
Just like it did with Babe Ruth nearly a century ago, Major League Baseball is betting big on Ohtani's popularity. It really means a lot to me when kids who play baseball say they want to be like Shohei Ohtani. This has happened a lot both when I played in Japan and also after I started playing in America. I feel a strong responsibility to make sure I don't let those kids down.
Adam Yamaguchi, CBS News.
The ball from the final pitch of the 2024 World Series, securing the Los Angeles Dodgers' 8th MLB championship, will be auctioned to benefit those affected by the Los Angeles fires. Will and Kara Smith, through their Catching Hope Foundation, will auction the historic ball, sealing the Dodgers' World Series triumph over the New York Yankees with a 7-6 Game 5 win. This auction is a partnership between the Catching Hope Foundation, the Bueller Family Foundation, and the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, uniting to support fire relief efforts. The online auction is on the Memorabilia Network. Bidding begins Friday and continues through Saturday, April 5th at 8 p.m. Drake's longtime label Universal Music Group has sought a dismissal of his defamation lawsuit over its promotion of Kendrick Lamar's Grammy-winning single, Not Like Us, the biggest hit of a barrage of diss tracks between the two rappers. In a filing in Manhattan federal court, UMG said the lyrics to Not Like Us, which according to Drake brand him a pedophile, are merely rhetorical hyperbole and opinion safeguarded by the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. Also accused Drake of hypocrisy for having signed a June 2022 petition that criticized prosecutors using artists' works against them in criminal cases and declared such works the product of artists' vision and imagination, only to now brand Lamar's lyrics as literal fact. Lamar mentioned Drake by name in Not Like Us, whose lyrics say, "Drake, I hear you, like 'em young," and call him and others certified pedophiles. The song was released last May, one day after Drake's Family Matters appeared to accuse Lamar of physical abuse and infidelity and questioned the percentage of one of his children. The lawsuit seeks damages for defamation and harassment. Drake and Lamar have feuded for about a decade. Not Like Us won Grammy Awards in February for Record and Song of the Year. It spent 2 weeks atop Billboard's Top 100 in 2024. Whether you play a guitar or simply admire a good riff, it's an instrument that plays a big part in our lives. Ann Makovic shows us how a California company is tuning in to a sustainable future.
The widespread destruction of old-growth forests is making it harder to get the wood traditionally used to make guitars. Grammy winner and guitar virtuoso Molly Tuttle.
It's a big problem and it's hard to really know what to do sometimes.
Bob Taylor of Taylor Guitars has a plan.
We're going to use wood more wisely from non-traditional sources.
The Southern California company makes more than 7 huntars a day.
We've seen the light that wood is getting more difficult to get.
Taylor's quest to find new sources of wood brought him to the edge of a different kind of forest.
Sometimes they interfere with utilities, so the city has to remove them.
West Coast Arborist takes care of urban trees for hundreds of cities and counties. When they remove a tree, instead of throwing the timber into a landfill, they sell it to artists. That's when they met Bob Taylor.
This tree we're going to take down today and repurpose the wood for Taylor guitar.
Taylor identified several species of urban trees that make great sounding guitars, like chamois ash, red ironbark, and black acacia. When the arborists get a call to remove one, like this chamois ash in the Central Valley, they carefully prepare it for milling.
Oh, here we go.
The milled wood ends up at Taylor Guitars.
When I see this, I see the potential of the world changing.
The urban guitars are sold in stores around the world.
Frequently the topic doesn't even come up as to, what is this wood and where did it come from? Instead, it's like, wow, this sounds great.
Tuttle first tried out a chamois ash and then red ironbark. Her verdict?
It's cool for me as a guitar player. Like, I want to play guitars that are made of all sorts of different woods.
Woods that provide a strong, new, sustainable sound. Ann Makovic, CBS News, Palo Alto, California.
And if you're interested, Taylor's website compares the tonal quality of the urban ash to Honduran mahogany, while the ironbark compared to Indian rosewood. The guitars retail in the $3,000 to $3,500 range. We'll be right back to wrap things up. All right, thanks for joining us this morning. Remember, you can always catch the latest news on WCBI Midday, 5, 6, 9, and 10, and of course, WCBI.com. We'll see you next time here on Mid-Morning.